It's almost time. Time for back to school. Time for you to begin your first journey as a new teacher. And there's some things that you want to get in place for yourself before school even starts. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because I have the blueprint you need in order to be successful for this school year. So let's get right into the video. Your routines for your class. Know what you want your students to do. You want to know when you want them to do it and how you want them to do it. That way you can be sure that you communicate this to them the first few days of school. This will ensure that you have an even more successful school year. So make sure you have established a routine for your students for the first few days of school. You'll also want to have a routine for yourself. You want to make sure that you have taken into account the things that you have to do, when you need to do them, and how you're going to get them done. You also want to make sure that while you're doing all of this, that you plan for breaks, that you plan some self-care, that you know what days that you're going to work on your lesson plans, you know what days you're not going to work on your lesson plans, and you're going to spend time with your family and your friends. It is so important as a new teacher, even as a veteran teacher, that you know where your time is going, that you set time aside for yourself. Believe it or not, you're going to have to plan those times. You're going to have to plan that time that you spend with you, because if you're not careful, you'll allow school to eat up the majority of your time, and you won't be spending time with your family. You won't be doing your hobbies, and you will become an unhealthy teacher. And trust me, the stress and anxiety from teaching can get to the point where you really need those breaks. So make sure that you're establishing routines before the first of school. Routines for your students and routines for yourself. Now is a great time to be thinking about your communication systems, to be thinking about how you're going to get in touch with your parents. Decide what you're going to use. Are you going to use GroupMe? Are you going to use like a dojo? Are you going to use newsletters? Are you going to use social media? Are you going to use all of it? No matter what you decide to do, make sure you have picked out your communication system that you're going to use for your parents before the first days of school. This way, when you meet your parents and when your students come, that you can go ahead and tell them, and they know what to expect and when to expect it. So one of my first tips is to make sure that you have decided on your communication system that you're going to use with your parents. Something else that you want to be thinking about right now before school starts is how you're going to get your students to buy in to what you're trying to teach them, and how you're going to get them to take ownership of their own learning. We want our students to be able to take ownership of their own learning. So make sure you are thinking of ways to get them to be responsible for their learning. This means that not only are you in charge, but you give them some ownership in your classroom. When you're making your classroom rules, make sure that you think about ways that you can include your students in that, so they have a say in what happens in their class, so they have a say in what your consistent routine is. These are just some of the ways that you can allow them to take responsibility for their learning and take ownership of the classroom. And you want them to do this, because when they feel like they own the class or they have a say in what goes on, then they're going to do better in your class. So begin to think about these things that you can do right now before school starts. Go ahead and make financial decisions right now. Look at your contract. See how much your district is going to be paying you, and then you can make decisions on what you need to do financially to ensure that you are best prepared for your new life as a teacher. Because as I've said, and as everyone knows, teachers don't make a whole lot of money. So you need to know what you're going to do with your finances. You need to be looking at how you're going to budget that money. You need to be looking at what you need to pay and how you need to pay it and what you need to do. Because like I said, here in the great state of Mississippi where I live, we get paid once a month. So I have to carefully budget my money and plan for those times when there is no extra money coming in. So make sure that you take all this into account. Begin to look at how you're going to save your money, how you're going to grow your money, if you're going to be doing investing or whatever it is that you're going to do to manage your money. Be sure you're doing that now. Along with money management is time management. Decide how you're going to manage your time as a new teacher. And this goes into the planning phase, where I talked about deciding on your rules and routines. Figure out a time management system. Go take a ride to your new school. See how long it takes you to get there. Factor in traffic. Factor in those little things that happen in the morning times that make you run late or whatever it is. And see how long it takes you to actually get to work at a comfortable time. Do this now so you know how long it's going to take you on road time. See how long it's going to take you to get dressed or do those little quirky things that you need to do in the morning time, like put your makeup on or just drink your coffee and get your mind right. But go ahead and figure out now how you're going to manage your time, how you're going to get all this done in the mornings before you get to work. Because trust me, you want to be on time, especially your first year. You want to be on time all the time, but the first year, your first year of school, you want to make sure that you're at work on time so you can get your room set up and organized before those little babies come. So be sure you're factoring in time. Do your time management now. Plan ahead for your school. If at all possible, get a mentor. Get a mentor. If you can't get a mentor, get a friend. Get somebody you can talk to help you through your first year of teaching. Or even if this is your 20th year of teaching, get somebody that you can talk to and vent with. It's going to encourage you and lift you up and tell you the things that you need to be doing to help you make it through your school year. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make school sound like it's an awful thing. Obviously, teaching is my first choice in professions. Of course, I have another profession, and there are some other things that I might be interested in doing. But if I had to do it all again, I would still become a teacher. I love teaching, and I know you will too. And it's our little hearts to go out to our students, and it's our ability to touch the future and touch the world that makes it all worthwhile. It makes the long hours, the lack of pay, the lack of support, all worthwhile. So don't get me wrong. Just be sure that you get someone that you can talk to help keep you uplifted and help you stay grounded and focused as you begin your journey as a new teacher. One of the most important things as you start your teaching career, if you want to have a successful year, one is to make sure that you have the right mindset. Make sure that you're in a good place as you start teaching, that you know mentally what you want to do, how you want to do it, and make sure that you're being positive. I mentioned this earlier. I said a lot. Being positive is key. You're going to have to make sure that you're focusing on the positive things and not the negatives if you're going to be successful, not just in teaching, but in life in general. And most of all, be grateful, be thankful. Find something to be grateful and thankful about each day. No matter what's going on, no matter how bad a day you had, no matter what happened, whether it was a fire drill in the middle of your class and you're playing your lesson really, really hard. But whatever it is, make sure that you are grateful. Be grateful for the blessings to be able to touch these children's lives, to be able to touch the future. Be grateful. Be grateful for the little things. If you had a duty-free lunch, be grateful. If you got to come in a few minutes late, be grateful. If you have an extra day off on the weekend, be grateful. You got to spend more time with your family. Be grateful. Be grateful. You will be surprised at how far gratitude will take you, and it will ensure that you have a better teaching year. So be grateful as you prepare to enter the wonderful world of teaching. Please keep these things in mind, and you'll have a successful school year. And I'll see you guys in the next video.